I'm Chimwemwe Mangazi with Business Time on Times. It is a magazine program where we bring you business and economic news stories making headlines. In the program today, government losing 1 trillion kwacha to procurement flows and fraud. Also in the program, the African Union launches an ambitious strategy to transform the continent's agricultural sector, targeting $100 billion in investments. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. The Economics Association of Malawi, ECAMA, indicates that about 1 trillion kwacha worth of resources leaks through flawed procurement systems and fraudulent processes in the public service. This came out during pre-budget consultation by the Ministry of Finance on Monday and Tuesday in Lilongwe and Mzuzu, respectively. Our journalist Kingsley Jassy attended the Lilongwe meeting and now reports.
Once in our history, we had put 30% on production. That was the beginning of what people are calling now, because I think we are tired that we spend 70% or plus on issues that do not bring development in the country. We are happy that, number one, they are able to appreciate the 30% allocation that we did on production or productive budget last year, and that they are looking forward to more resources allocated to productive, production. That's the way we are looking forward to it. I would not wish to respond to issues as if we have completed the consultations. But if this has, started in Lilongwe, we hope in Mzuzu and Blantyre, the cause will be the same. That will now give us a direction that Malawians would like productivity and nothing else. Production, and more production. I'm happy that some of the propositions that many participants highlighted are also within the RDP that we've been talking about. People are talking about getting resources from diaspora engagements that we've said before. People have talked about getting resources from carbon financing and trading that we have spoken before. People have talked about more resources put into agricultural productivity so that we can be able to generate more for FX that we've spoken about before. So we are going to, number one, diversify our economic activities by exploring more areas that are not traditional but can be able to give us resources. Mining, for example, has featured highly. People would like to see Malawians doing more in mining, in tourism, in carbon financing, in several other options, including mega farm. So these are some of the issues that we are going to do. But you've also rightly heard the people placing much on government's intention to engage more into debt restructuring, including advocating for debt cancellation. So also take that discussion to our development partners. But I'm happy that Malawians have shown willingness to participate in these participatory budgeting processes by giving us what they think are the constructive comments to input into the final budget. There is nothing like more challenging or less challenging, but I think the position we are in requires for more innovations. Innovations for us to come up with a budget that does not only reflect on what people want, but a budget that can also facilitate for the quickest way of developing this country. So yes, it has given us heads up in terms of how we frame the budget and the aspirations of Malawian people. What we need is just to put pieces on paper and make sure that we come up with a budget. Let me assure Malawians, the budget that we are going to present will be pro-Malawian, will be productive budget. It will be a budget that resonates with people's aspirations.
The African Union has launched an ambitious strategy to transform the continent's agricultural sector, targeting $100 billion in investment by 2035. The expectation is that this will be achieved through the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, Strategy and Action Plan for 2026 to 2035. The plan, unveiled at the CADEP Extraordinary Summit in Kampala, Uganda, aims to establish resilient agri-food systems across Africa through 5 strategic objectives, focusing on sustainable food production, agro-industrialization, and trade enhancement. A key component of the strategy, Strategic Objective 2, addresses investment and financing for agri-food system transformation. Our journalist Benedetta Chiwandamia caught up with CADEP non-state actors chairperson Chikondi Chavuta Nkawa.
So the Kampala Compact, which is a precursor from the Malabo, is different in a sense that this time around, we are not focusing just on the agriculture sector. It's agriculture food systems. So we are looking at the whole food system. It is not just something that is a responsibility of Ministry of Agriculture alone, but it is a responsibility of all ministries that are linked to the aspect of agriculture. So whether it be trade, it's highly involved, whether it is in education or other aspects that make agriculture tick are going to be involved. And another thing that is different is the aspect of climate. So in this new compact, there is more emphasis on climate and also more emphasis on the inclusion of women and youth. The development of the Kampala Compact has been very inclusive, where women and youth have been highly consulted from Malawi, from all sectors of society, to make sure that the compact speaks to what they would want the future of food systems to look like. CADEP is really about ensuring that there is growth that is taking place from the agriculture sector if we invest 10% into agriculture from our budgets. So this is very crucial because we want this financing to come in and support all sectors that make agriculture move. So these sectors include extension, which is very critical for our farmers. It includes research. It includes trade. It includes making sure markets, even ADMAC, is working based on what the Kampala Compact is saying. So all these aspects can only move if we have progress made towards allocating financing to implement actions that make those sectors work. So it is very crucial for the investment to happen because, as they say, where you put your money is where it shows where you have your serious aspects are and where your priorities are. So for us as an agro-based economy, for example, but also as an agro-based continent, which is Africa has over 70% depending on agriculture. We really need to have money going towards boosting agriculture production, agriculture supply chain in its entirety, having value addition, and having products made and grown from Africa being dictated by the government's budgets that goes to grow them. First is to have ownership. That's the most important thing. CADEP should not be owned just by one ministry, but it should be owned by the whole government. It has been committed to, it has been signed into by all heads of states on the continent. So if it has been signed, it means this is seen as a priority. So first of all, it's ownership. And the second bit of it is to make sure that financing and this investment that we are talking into agriculture is going towards transformative aspects of agriculture, making sure that we are not doing business as usual. We are mobilizing funding, we are improving how we track private investment, having private sector play a role, but also ensuring that it's an inclusive process through and through. The development of it was very inclusive, and we expect that now that we have the Kampala declaration, the work starts. And by that, it means non-state actors are playing a role to raise awareness for everyone to understand what this new compact is saying and what it promises, and how they can follow up with either their councillor at that level or even their district councillor, their member of parliament, and the minister, to make sure that funding that is coming in is going towards these commitments that have been made. What we have seen as a lesson in the past is that we do have this commitment, and sometimes we can have this 10% being allocated towards the National Agriculture Investment Plan, but that's where it stops. This Kampala will be different because we will be making sure that we are following up, we are constantly being engaged, and we are allies with the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Trade, and all other ministries concerned, even the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that we are living the reality of what the African dream of Agenda 2063 through the CADIP looks like. So this time around, it's pure implementation, clear investment, and making sure that it is towards transformative aspects of what the citizenry demands from agriculture.
Welcome back. Representatives of the electricity generation company Genco have indicated that, all things being equal, recent blackouts facing Malawians will end by January 25, 2025. This is the tentative completion date for rehabilitation works on 2 of its turbines underway at its Kapichira power station in Chimwemwe district. This came out when Minister of Energy Ibrahim Matora visited the power plant to appreciate progress on the rehabilitation works. A Genco Chief Executive Officer Maxon Chitao explains.
So far, because we had the 3 units which were not working properly, progress so far on Unit 1, which we started working seriously on the 1st January, we are above 50%. We estimated we'll do this work in 25 days. So far we're above 50%, which we are within schedule. We should be able to finish Unit 1 on time, the way we are today. For the other units, Unit 3 is already back online, so it's operational. While the other Unit 4, we are also almost done. By tomorrow, we hope to be on the grid. So we are on course to have the power station at least 50%, more than 60% by tomorrow, generating power to about something megawatts by tomorrow. Then after around 24-25 of January, we should have the whole power station back on track. The main challenge to this damage which we had, because it's mechanical, we have a lot of silt which is coming with the sand, and therefore wear and tear has increased. The system also for the first 2 units, Unit 1 and Unit 2, were installed in 1998-99 and operationalized in 2000. So they've been running for close to 24 years full capacity, and as a result, some parts had to really wear and tear because of the sand which has been eroding the components. So normally these are the major causes of our...
Matola commends the company for the efforts applied to contain the power outages.
First and foremost, let me thank the Malawians for their patience and the perseverance during the rehabilitation or maintenance of the Kapichira power plant. Kapichira power plant is in phase 2. Phase 1, which has got 2 turbines, each 32.4 megawatts, which was commissioned in 2000. So the actual works started in 1999. As we say that hydropower plant takes 4 to 5 years. Then the phase 2 of Kapichira, which has got also 64.8 megawatts, which was commissioned in 2013. The maintenance which is taking place here is so huge. We have witnessed together that there are some bolts and nuts which 3 bolts can only take a day to unscrew them. and there are about 14 bolts. So the calculations are yours. Then there is another rotor which has got about 64 nuts. And to open those ones are huge. And just imagine things which were tied in 2000. And after 24 years, we are trying to unscrew them. That's where the challenge is. And hence, the engineers are consuming like a lot of time to replace the lost megawatts. They are working day and night, and to replace some of these things you have seen, to remove them down where it's 173 feet above the sea level. So these are the things which our engineers do face, but we thank them that in a short period, as they've promised, that by the end of the day, tomorrow, they'll put back turbine number 1 back online. Then they'll be working on the other one, which also will take maybe a week so that we can have full capacity. So let me assure the Malawians that the works which are taking place here, it's giving life to the power plant and also to generate the much needed, the capacity which was installed. Because you can have installed the capacity of 129.8 megawatts, but because of some other factors, you cannot generate that required power because of the challenges or the factors which are into these machines. Phase number 2, we are going to see the scouring, the silt. Kapichira hydropower plant is the furthest, or we can say downstream. Further upstream, we've got Nkula. Then after some kilometers, which is about 12 kilometers, you find Tedzani. Then after 16 to 18 kilometers, that's where you find Kapichira hydropower plant. In the same river, Shire. And we have also potential sites like Colombidzo, up Matope Bridge, which is between Balaka and Ncheu. We can also have hydropower plant, 200 something megawatts. Then the Mpata Manga hydropower plant. The Mpata Manga started during Kamuzu's time in 1960s, during the cabinet crisis, and then it died in natural death. But also the Mpata Manga, His Excellency Dr. Rosas Makatha Chakwera's administration is implementing that one. And very soon, we are going to have a groundbreaking ceremony. And from there, Mpata Manga, which will be between Matope or Colombidzo and Nkula. In between, there is Mpata Manga.
With that item, we've come to the end of today's edition of Business Time. This is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Chimwemwe Mangazi. But always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Bye for now.